Hello, welcome to this latest newsletter update. As you can see, I'm not in the usual mosh pit of how to invest without being ripped off towers. You'll just have to make do with the technicalities as I present them to you. Two main topics this month. The first one would be the UK election that's coming up. Should investors be worried? And the second will be that I'm launching 4 new portfolios. Plus, of course, let's see what WTF and the update on the portfolio I've already invested in has done. So, UK investor, should you be worried if there is an election coming up in the UK? And the answer I would say is no. We're now going to be subject to 6 weeks of political noise, 95% of which will be just that, just noise and irrelevance. Stock prices and bond prices will go up and down when somebody mentions something and the huge investors, namely insurance companies and pensions companies and the like, they start to worry about how much more or how much less profit they can make. But most of it won't be relevant to you and me. The exception to that, I think, is the tax efficient investments that you and I in the UK can operate, namely ISAs and SIPs. And I explain, I think, what those are on the website, which is howtoinvestwithoutbeingripped-off.com. Another good website that you can find out the names and understandings of things is investopedia.com. It's a misspelling if you're English of Investopedia, but it's correct if you're American. So take your pick. Anywho, SIPs and ISAs. I would be surprised if any major wholesale changes are made of those. People have been talking about reforming them for ages, but never got around to it. But the thing is, the UK culture, for various reasons, is one of being able to invest in this sort of thing because there isn't a state pension of any great worth or meaning. As a result, most people in the UK have resorted to buying a property, paying off the mortgage and using that as the investment nest egg for when they come to retire. Now, with property prices being so stratospherically high at the moment, that makes buying a property out of reach of probably most people these days. I prefer to rent because it's much better for my cash flow, and instead of using all that money in a mortgage and paying all the fees, I invest that money and I do well out of it. That's not for everyone, but that's the decision I've made. Not everyone has a choice. Many people just simply can't afford a property. As a result, that means that there's even more pressure on people being able to get hold of a pension somehow or other. And it's a heck of a lot cheaper for the government to allow people tax exemptions or tax efficient opportunities to invest than it would be to provide a welfare state pension that would really work. So I don't think there'll be a great deal of change coming to that. I'll be keeping an eye on it, but I'm not terribly worried. So is there much to worry about for the UK election for an investor in the UK? Not really. It will bring about some sort of stability once people get used to the new incumbents or the existing incumbents renewing, though it does look as though it's going to be Keir Starmer who will probably have a majority. But who knows? Stranger things have happened. 4 new portfolios. The portfolio I launched exactly a year ago, because I'm speaking to you now in May 2024, has done really well. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But what I've decided to do is throw a whole load more money into different investments that are tax efficient, specifically SIPs, self-invested pension plans, so that you can see what the opportunities are if you have, say, £50,000 or £25,000 or £10,000, and you have a different level of risk from the one which I prefer, which is higher rated risk. That's what suits my personal circumstances. To find out what suits your personal circumstances, again, go to my website and you'll see what I think is a really good risk assessment questionnaire. It's more comprehensive than most of the ones I've seen on banks and investment companies, where they just seem to want to shovel people into lower risk investments and then take their money, which, if that's what you're happy with, then great. I'm not. So I'm going to set up a £50,000 higher risk rated portfolio, a £50,000 medium risk rated portfolio, a £10,000 medium risk rated portfolio. All three of those portfolios will be designed to just grow. So I won't be taking any money out of them, they'll just be growing. And one more at £25,000, which is an income generating portfolio. In other words, this is the sort of thing where your money is set up, you're no longer adding to it, but you want it to earn an income, pay you an income. So that one's the hardest one to get right, because it's where the risk levels are the greatest, because you can't afford to lose money. So that one's taken quite a bit of planning and working out. But with all of these portfolios, all I'm doing is taking the investment decisions of well over 100 investment funds that are risk rated, so lower, medium or higher, or income generating, which are also tending to be lower risk. And I've just copied what they've done according to, say, a tranche of a group of lower risk rated investment portfolios. I've seen what they do overall as a collective and emulated that, but with much, much lower costs. Talking of which, how has my existing pension fund done? Well, turns out it's done really well. Gross returns over a year were 15.28%. And if you take the costs away from that, which was something like £155 in a year, then that leaves you with 13.66% returns after fees. That's really good. Do I take credit for that? No. Why not? Because all I've done is copy what everyone else has done on average, but used really low-cost funds to do it, low-cost passive funds. And I have gone through thousands of funds to find these 110 or so funds that will allow me to build portfolios, but at much lower costs, while copying the pinstripes and getting, as you can see, proven results. WTF? Are you of a certain age? Let me take you on a little bit of a tour. If you're familiar with Jules Holland over here, remember the adverts for Smash, for MASH, get Smash, that one? Well, if you don't, it means you're younger than I am, which is fair enough, or you didn't waste your life watching stupid television commercials. Well, I bought a new Chimenea. Does this look familiar?
Captain, something strange has appeared on the Earth scanner. Let me observe. Do you realize what this means, gentlemen? What does it mean? It means that there is intelligent life on Earth.
For MASH, get Smash.